Alright, this is going to be a tutorial on how to do a push-up with very good form, proper form. Haven't made a tutorial like this in a very long time, so I'm going to be very thorough with what I am going to explain. There's several things that I don't like about push-ups, because there's a lot of different ways to cheat, and I don't like to cheat myself, and when you do cheat yourself, you're only hurting yourself. What I do like about the bench press is that, it's harder to cheat because, you got to have the bar over you, and it's got to touch your chest, and then you got to bring it back up, The push-up, there's just so many different ways to do it, and so many ways to cheat, and it's hard to measure your progress. But I came up with this method of training the push-ups that I think is a very good method. I just came up with it today, and I wanted to share that with the people out there. The push-up that I like to do with good form means, you touch your chin or your nose to the ground. Your upper body doesn't touch the ground, really. Maybe your chest might touch the ground. But your lower body will not touch the ground. Your groin area will not touch the ground. Your thighs will not touch the ground, and your butt is gonna be straight aligned. It's not gonna be sticking up. So, and you're gonna do a slight pause when you get up to the top. But there's going to be a little variation that I wanted to show that makes it even better to measure, how much you can do. And you want to keep it continuous, because another thing I don't like about push-up is how you just rest. People just rest so much, and they'll start holding it like this and resting like this, and so you don't want your lower back to be braced like this, where your hips are pushed down to the ground. That's another way to cheat. So you don't want to cheat like that, and you don't want to cheat like this. One thing that's nice about the push-up that you don't get from the bench press is it activates your core, like your abs. It makes it work. Whereas in the bench press, you don't really get that because you're just laying flat on your back. But here, when you hold this position, this front lean and rest, they call it, you're working your abs just by holding this right here. And you're also working your glutes and your leg muscles at the moment right there. A little bit of your calves as well. So just to hold this position is not that easy when you get tired. Okay? So there's the benefit of working the push-up is that it's working more of the total body rather than just laying back on on the bench press. Just pretty much working on upper body and that's it. Okay? So the variation that I want to show, is I want it continuous. So your hands are going to be over your body. It's kind of like in the chest area, so it's not going to be too high. It's not going to be too low. You're going to hold it right here, over your, aligned with like your chest. So not like this, but then not like that either. But just over your chest. Okay, you're going to come down, and you can touch your chin. If you want, you can touch a little bit of the center of your chest. And then once you come down there, you push it back up, and you want your body aligned in the back. I mean, you can look at my form in the camera. If you can't get a mirror, you can check your form. Here and back up. So you want to breathe in when you go down, breathe out when you come up. If you look at this position, this angle, it should look like this. Okay. So what I like to do is to add this variation is to make it so then you got your elbows locked out, and you take some time when you get to the upright position, so then you're not going too fast. When you go too fast, it breaks down the form, and then you end up almost doing like half push-ups or quarter push-ups. You pretty much you're not going through the full range, and I don't like that because you end up cheating yourself. So what I came up with today that I liked is you just kind of come up and you touch your wrist on the opposite hand. So you kind of go like this, come up, and you touch the wrist. And you come up again, touch the wrist. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I like about that is it forces you to make a slight pause, and it forces you to go full range, because in order to touch the other wrist, your other elbow's got to pretty much be locked out. Because I can't touch the wrist if I'm down like that. I have to be up all the way in order to touch the wrist. If I try to touch it when I'm down, it's just not going to work. So it forces you to lock out your elbows in order to touch the wrist. And you got to keep it continuous. So no resting. Because the resting is pretty much like doing a set, and I don't like that. So you just keep going until you can't do anymore. And that to me is more of a legitimate test for yourself to see where you're at when it comes to the push-ups. And you have to make sure you go all the way down where your chin or your nose or the center of your chest is touching the ground, and anything below the chest, your abs, your groin area, your thighs, it should not be touching the ground. Because a lot of times people will cheat like this. You know, they'll go down like, and you're not supposed to do it like that, you know. And then people will cheat like this. You know, you have to have your back aligned, and your whole body's got to come down with you, but you cannot let the lower part from the chest all the way down to touch the floor. The only thing that should be touching the floor are your toes, you know. So it should be here in this front lean and rest. Okay, tighten your core. Your glutes should be tightened as well. You come down and it should look like that. Come back up, and then here, and then touch. So then that makes it, so then make sure you got that full range. You know, you know, the thing about the push-ups, like, it's just so many cheating methods, and this is just pure push-up, getting the strength, building that those muscles, and then you can start working on other more dynamic push-ups if you like, with, you know, that are more, there's more flashy type of push-ups and all that. But this is the basic push-up right here that, you know, I think that you gotta learn to perfect before you start working on those other push-ups that are much more difficult. You know, I really like that variation that I just came up with. I mean, I used to see people just touching their wrists, and I'm just like, I mean, I saw a few women do that, and it's just like, I'm just thinking to myself, that ain't doing nothing. Like, what are you even doing? It's not challenging enough. But now that I came up with this, I really like it, you know, because for a slight moment you're on one arm, and that makes it a little bit challenging, and then it also forces you to lock out the elbows, which I think is a great thing, you know, because there's just too many ways to cheat, then, you know, and I really like this variation. So here, I just do it from here, so you can see from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. Okay? So hopefully that video helped you out a lot, or a little bit at least. Good form and good technique. You know, when it comes down to it, if you don't do it the right way, you're only cheating yourself. You know, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it this way all the time. Sometimes you can change it up where you do it very fast and your form's not perfect, but it's just for speed. I call those speed push-ups. But you should have the ability to be able to adapt to either one. Do it fast, do it slow, do it perfect form, do it not so perfect form. So then your muscles don't really get a chance to get used to anything. You know, so then your muscles are always guessing, and you're throwing something different at it every time. And you're also just demonstrating your your versatility in what you could do. You know, people can't really talk bad about you when you can pretty much do everything the way it's supposed to be done. Do push-ups with proper form, do push-ups with improper form, do push-ups slow, do push-ups fast, do the easy push-ups, do the hard push-ups. Be able to just adapt. You know, that's what I like. You know, that's how I train, that's what I recommend, and I'm thankful to just come up with something a little bit different, you know, to make something like the push-up have a more effective way to measure where you're at. You know, because when you start counting reps, you know, how do you know if you're actually getting stronger or if you're just doing more because you got bad form? You know, so these are some things that, you know, as you exercise and you have more experience, you'll learn to self-correct. You know, you don't need to have to necessarily have somebody else tell you that you shouldn't do it this way, because a lot of people don't like other people telling them what to do, but you just need to self-correct yourself. Make sure that you're doing it proper form with every single exercise that you do. Alright, so hopefully it helped you out, and like and subscribe if you liked the video, and tune in for more. Take care.